Well, hello there, YouTube. It's Ro here. Thank you for visiting You Grow Ro. If this is your first time here, I hope you'll consider subscribing at the end of this video. If you've been here before, thank you so much for coming back. I appreciate you. Today, I'll be introducing you to the most fascinating kale I've ever grown. And make sure you stay and watch until the end because I will be revealing the name of my kale, and it's the most meaningful name I've ever given a plant. Stick around. Most people think of kale as an annual. You plant it, you harvest it, and it dies. But what if I told you there's a kale that lives for years? A kale that grows like a shrub, survives the winter, resists pests, and tastes incredible. And what if I told you that the plant you see on the screen right now is part of a national breeding project to bring perennial vegetables back into our gardens? This is my perennial kale from the Experimental Farm Network's Grex. And today we're going to be diving deep into the perennial kale movement, the genetics behind it, the history, the breeding work, and why this plant might be one of the most important vegetables of the future. Perennial kale is exactly what it sounds like. It's kale that doesn't die from one season to another. These plants grow like bushes. They're branching and sprawling, sometimes even rooting where the stems touch the ground. But they produce greens year round, even in cold climates like my Zone 6B garden here in Ohio. Even with the wear and tear you can see on these leaves, the plant itself is still pushing forward. Mine has been through freezing nights, thawing cycles, pests, and winter wear, and it's still alive and pushing new growth. Now, just to be clear, this is my plant's very first winter. I started it indoors back in February of 2025. I started 6 seeds, wound up with 3 plants that I put out in the garden in April, and this is the sole survivor. So I haven't been growing this for years and years. What you're seeing here is just one season of growth and its first test against an Ohio winter. And I know what you're thinking. It's not even been one full year. Aren't you jumping the gun, Ro? Well, yeah, probably. But it's only because I'm so excited about the prospect of discovering a new variety of perennial kale. A Grex is basically a big mixed family of plants, not all identical, but all related. Instead of getting a uniform variety, you get a whole spectrum of traits. Every seed produces something unique. Now, this Grex was created by crossing two perennial tree kales. You got the purple tree collards, which you've all kind of heard of, I think, at this point, and then the Joe Benton with a whole lineup of brassicas. So they use the red boar, lacinato, walking stick kale, Brussels sprouts, kohlrabi, Baltic red kale, and so much more. So this isn't really just kale, it's like a living gene pool. Perennial kale matters because it quietly does a lot of heavy lifting in the garden. It's been grown through drought, heat, cold, without extra water or fuss, so it holds up when the weather gets weird. It keeps giving you fresh greens long after annual kales have tapped out. Its deep, permanent roots help keep the soil in place so you're not tearing up your beds every year. People have even used these kales as feed for chickens, goats, cows, and pigs, which says a lot about how dependable they are. And on top of all that, this Grex was chosen for flavor. Chefs genuinely love it. Put all of that together, and perennial kale stops feeling like a novelty and starts looking like a practical, steady crop for gardeners dealing with unpredictable seasons. And the funny thing is, I still have more seeds left from the same packet I bought from the Experimental Farm Network. So, this might just be the beginning for me. I could end up growing even more totally unique perennial kales, plants that I get to name, that I get to share with my friends and my family and bring to seed swaps. And there's something really special about that. It feels like you're discovering something that didn't exist before, and then you're passing it on. And honestly, I hope more people jump in and try this too. A packet is $5 for about 85 seeds, and every single one has the potential to grow into its own one of a kind plant. Experimental Farm Network even says it right on their site. Every plant is unique. You'll see all kinds of leaf shapes. You'll see long and thin, or ruffled or flat, and colors from bright green to deep purple. I can't fully explain it, but growing these out feels meaningful. You're adding to the diversity of perennial kales, giving these plants names with stories behind them. It just feels good to be part of something bigger than your own garden. Oregon based plant breeder Chris Hominix is leading a massive effort to rebuild perennial kale genetics. His goal? Plants that taste great, resist pests and diseases, and stand up to extreme weather across the U.S. This project starts from a very simple belief that plant breeding should be something we do together out in the open as a community. And that's where growers like us come in. Volunteers across the country grow these plants. They observe them and then they report back. And then that feedback helps identify the best plants for future crosses. Perennial kale comes from an old subspecies called Ramosa, which basically means bushy. These plants don't flower much. They branch like crazy, and they used to be grown as everyday animal feed. Over the years, especially after the Victorian era, most modern kales lost the genes that let them live for several seasons. This project is trying to bring those traits back, keeping the perennial growth, restoring good seed set, and choosing plants that taste great and hold up to diseases. And you can already see that Ramosa influence in my plant. It's got that bushy, multi-stemmed look right out of the gate. Now, even though perennial kales can live for several years, they do eventually start to slow down. But the cool thing is, your favorite plants don't have to disappear. You can keep them going basically forever by cloning them. All you'll have to do is take stem cuttings from mature branches and root them somewhere else in your garden if you want. Most people do this from fall into early winter, depending on your climate. It's a simple way to keep a good plant in your life for a long, long time. The story begins in Wales with Graham Jenkins Bellorska. Sorry, Graham. He had two kales, perennial kales. He had the purple tree collars and the Doe Benton in 2011. Both of them unexpectedly flowered, which is like a once in a lifetime event, apparently. And he hand pollinated them with each other and his favorite brassicas, as mentioned, the red boar, the lacinato, the walking stick kale, Brussels sprouts, kohlrabi, and more. Chris received some of that seed in 2012, grew out 400 plants, and only 80 survived that brutal Pacific Northwest winter. Those survivors became the nucleus of this entire project. And now, years later, that lineage is growing right here in Ohio in my garden. And that's the beauty of this project. It spans continents and climates and decades of careful stewardship. This seed is released under the Open Source Seed Initiative Pledge. That means no patents, no corporate control, and no locking up the genetics. You can grow it, you can save it, you can breed with it, you could even share it, so long as you keep it free. This is seed stewardship. This is community breeding. And the more growers who participate, the faster this population evolves into something truly adapted to our changing climate. My plant has deep green leaves and purple veins with winter wear, insect damage, and new growth emerging from the center. It's bushy, resilient, and still producing. This is exactly the kind of plant that the project wants growers to observe because every plant is a potential contributor to the next generation. And remember, this is only its first winter. It hasn't had years and years to establish or build a woody base yet. This is just what it's doing after one growing season. Just one. And after learning all of this, the history, the genetics, the community behind it, I realized my plant deserved a name with its own story. I decided to name my unique perennial kale Timaro Winter Keeper. The name is a blend of my name and my partner's, Tim and Ro, but it also echoes the word tomorrow. And that felt right because Tim was someone whose love carried forward. Even after losing him this past June, I feel him in the small, steady things that keep showing up in my life. This plant survived winter here, is surviving winter here. It's held on through cold, through damage, through everything the season threw at it. And when I saw new growth pushing through it, it reminded me the way love doesn't disappear. It just changes form, but it keeps going. So Timero is both of us intertwined. And Winter Keeper honors the resilience of this plant and the resilience of the love that we built over 18 years. It's my way of letting something living carry his name forward season after season. If you're interested in perennial vegetables, climate resilient gardening, or community driven seed stewardship, perennial kale is the perfect place to start. Let me know in the comments what your traits for your plants are showing. And if you want updates on this one as it grows through the season, stick around because this plant has a lot more to teach us. All right, friends, that does it for today. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe, share with your family and friends, and I will see you all in another video on another day. Until then, happy growing, my friends.